Hi, I'm Christine, and this is Riona, and today we're going to be talking about Chapter 9, Interpersonal Communication in Friendships and Professional Relationships, Social Relationships in the Workplace, Relationships between Superiors and Subordinates. So an example of that would be like an employer-employee or manager and worker relationship. Just to give you a couple of facts about interpersonal relationships, friendships are usually between peers. So what that means is that peers are people who are of similar power or status. This means that relationships between superiors and subordinates, like the one between your boss and yourself, they can be complicated and tricky to navigate sometimes. Relationships are voluntary. So that means that we choose our friends and they choose us. So when you're friends with your boss and your boss exerts power over you, it can cause conflict between the voluntary nature of your friendship and the involuntary nature of your superior-subordinate relationship. This can be especially true if your friendship began before, when you were both peers and then one of you was promoted. Challenges can arise when what's best for your superior-subordinate relationship may not always be what's best for your friendship. So if you're the employee, you may not always agree with your boss's managerial decisions because they affect you. And if you're the boss, you may need to exert some sort of power over your employee, even though you want what's best for that person. So an example of conflict within a superior-subordinate relationship takes place in this video. So let's watch.
Hello, Peter. What's happening? I'm going to need you to go ahead and come in tomorrow. So if you could be here around 9, that would be great. Okay? Oh, and I almost forgot. I'm also going to need you to go ahead and come in on Sunday, too. Okay? We lost some people this week, and we need to sort of catch up. Thanks.
So as you can see, Peter's boss, Lumberg, exerts his power over him by asking him to come in on Saturday and Sunday. And he also slyly mentions that they've lost some people recently, reminding Peter of the power he has over his employment. This power inequality can cause conflict within interpersonal superior-subordinate relationships. And if you have ever seen this movie, Office Space, you know that Lumberg and Peter are not friends. So imagine how conflicted Peter would feel if Lumberg was also his friend.
Interpersonal conflict is an expressed struggle. It occurs between two or more interdependent parties. Power and conflict occur when the superior has the power in the relationship. However, the subordinate is a channel of communication, such as the work and personal relationship between the two. Both hold a form of power in the relationship, which is where things can get a little tricky. Here's a scenario that explains this. So imagine this in your head. Christine hired Riona a little over a year ago, and they quickly developed a bond. Riona is a great worker, and she's always there for Christine whenever she needs her. However, Christine and Riona have started hanging out outside of work and going to Starbucks and having coffee. Over time, Riona began to slack off at work due to her comfortable relationship with Christine. She has started to show up late and has turned in mediocre work. Christine has to approach the situation, but she doesn't know how to do to their friendship, and this is where things get tricky. How do these ladies deal with this situation? How does Riona and Christine stay friends and still work with each other? There's 5 strategies for managing this conflict. The first strategy that the two ladies can try is accommodating. This is like giving in. So, for example, Riona can stop slacking off and start doing her work, and Christine and Riona can basically carry on as usual. There's avoiding, and this is where the two ladies pretend like the conflict doesn't even exist. So no one says anything to the other, and they basically go about their day-to-day lives. A third is collaborating, and this is basically both ladies come together and figure out what's best for the two. Sitting down, having a meeting, and figuring out what can they do where they can still work together and have a friendship.
So there's also compromising, which could entail Christine, maybe talking to Riona about coming in late, and then just sort of hoping that the quality of her work also improves. And then there's also competing, which would be where Christine actually exerts power over Riona by like writing her up or firing her, for example. If you guys want to find out more information about being friends with your boss, you can visit this website here. It's in the PowerPoint that we sent out. So this is just a little map to a path to friendship with your boss. So some do's and don'ts. So first, we want to make sure that we acknowledge and remain aware of the fine line between friendship and authority with our boss. So we always want to talk about that openly and make sure that we keep that in the back of our mind. Keep complaints about work out of the friendship. That's not going to help either party, and it's just going to cause conflict. Also, maintain appropriate social media etiquette with your boss. A lot of people say you may not even want to be friends with your boss on social media. It can definitely cause conflict. Don't participate in work-related gossip for obvious reasons. Also, never use your friendship to receive special treatment at work. So that also affects the voluntary nature of the relationship between you and your boss. And then always communicate openly and honestly about the potential for conflict within the relationship. And if you do all these things, then you can likely have a great friendship with your boss. Thank you.
Thank you.